understand very well that if you corner me up to ask me the same question, I may answer in another way, depending on who you are and who exactly is asking the question. And the questions here are also hide and speak. Hide and speak. The owner of the question will hide their face somewhere and make me put my face here to answer it. So let's see what we can do. Number one, can mothers reject who their children want to marry? Can mothers reject who their children want to marry? Let me quickly say, mothers can reject who their children want to marry for so many reasons. Number one, if the prospective spouse is of bad character and if the person is irresponsible, no matter how much you say you love that person, your mother has the right to reject that person. Because there are some things your mother may see that and you can never see it. Your mother has been there before. After all, she married your father. So you can't tell her story about men. She knows better than you do. And the things she knows, even Google cannot tell you as much as she knows about men. Secondly, if such a person lack the deen, or the person hold on to dangerous belief system, if you know what I mean by that, a person may lack the deen completely, because Prophet ﷺ said, whenever a man comes to seek your daughter's hand in marriage, a man whose religiosity and character you have no objection to, you should allow him to marry your daughter. If you don't, then you spread facade on earth. The converse, this other side of it, is you marry a woman for 4 reasons, and the Prophet emphasized the aspect of religiosity. So if your mother sees that this person doesn't fit in to these qualities, or the person is actually a Muslim, but he holds on to some dangerous ideas, destructive akidah, ideologies that are destructive. Some people will hold on to some opinions and divide themselves into certain sects that bring problems to the society. Then your mother has the right to say, no, you shouldn't marry. Your mother also has the right, or your father has the right to reject the person if the relationship is based on deception. If the guy has come with 419 ideas, but you don't know, you do not realize it, and they get to detect it, they have every right to reject it. And number 4, if there are serious negative health implications and incompatibilities. What I mean by serious negative health implications is, when people say they are in love, they don't take into consideration some of these health situations of genotype and some other things that may make them not to be compatible health-wise. So your parents, whether mother or father, they have the right to reject some of these kind of relationships if they have seen these reasons. The other one that may be contestable is, what if these reasons are not there, they just don't like the person? They just don't like the person. Well, whether they can explain it or not, if they don't like somebody, I think, in my own opinion, you should be obedient to your parents, so long as what they are asking for is not something that is out of this world, is not something that is haram, is not something that is not redeemable. I hope you understand what I mean. If they just don't like the person, rather than go violent and turn your back against them, is the time when you have to be diplomatic and see how you can convince them. If they still insist that they will not accept, then you have to do mashwara. That is, you have to seek opinions and seek advice of elders who can speak to them in a way that they are going to understand. So don't go rebellious and don't go cantankerous against them. And if you like, quote hadith from now till tomorrow. If your mama doesn't like somebody, she may not listen to you at all. May Allah make it easy for us. Another question is, please give a recap of what to avoid, duties and the other one in marriage, the one we discussed yesterday. Yes, I say you should avoid the following in marriage. Avoid anger, because with anger comes resentment. With resentment comes hatred. People who are supposed to be in love, they begin to hate each other because of anger. Many marriages get destroyed when people are angry with each other and they are not ready to listen to one another. So anger is number 1 destroyer of marriages. Secondly, sadness. When there are too much of things that bring sadness in the marriage may go down. What is the opposite of sadness? Happiness. If you don't work hard to see how to make each other happy, then sadness will come in. So do make each other happy instead of promoting sadness against one another or within the marriage. And number 3, fear. Fear brings suspicion. Fear brings distrust. For example, what kind of a man puts password on his phone? What kind of a husband put password on his phone? Maybe he doesn't trust his wife, right? And what kind of a woman reads the husband's text messages? Maybe they don't trust each other. It is out of fear. Somebody will take my husband. Somebody will take my wife. Somebody is talking to my husband. Somebody is greeting my husband too much. Somebody is sending messages to my wife. It is out of lack of trust. Then we actually fear that we will lose each other, so we become overtly, exceedingly jealous and envious of one another. If you can avoid those 3 things, anger, sadness, and fear, then your marriage may have a good ending. And if you can imbibe 3 things, respect. We explained yesterday that there's nothing you cannot get from a man or do to a man if you do it with respect. And we said you can even abuse his mother if you have respect. He will not get angry. Because say, your mama is back again. You know she behaves like a witch sometimes. Allah Akbar. May Allah spare her life for us. You know, if you do it with respect, you will not get angry. You will just smile. But there's no amount of care and love you show a man. If you don't show him respect, he will disregard everything you have done. If you like, give him the best of food, be able to cook like a dream. If you serve him food not without respect, he can even vomit that food. So if you learn how to respect a man, treat him like a king, reciprocity demands that he will treat you like a queen. So I want to emphasize that aspect of respect. It's not because you have gone to school, then your husband cannot talk to you again. But you as a man, if they respect you, you should respect yourself. You don't shout on a woman, you don't hit a woman that is respecting you. If you do that, you are offending Allah who commanded her to respect you. So when they respect you, oh God, respect yourself. Then you also need obedience. Yes, men love it that their women are obedient to them, and the men should also be obedient to Allah. It goes hand in hand. And then the third one is commitment. Many marriages, like I had said some time ago, that many people have divorced up to 5 or 6 times within 5 years. The only thing is that when people divorce like that, they marry each other again. The difference is some people marry somebody else. I'm just exaggerating. There are many things we do to each other that is tantamount to divorce. But because of commitment, we try to be patient. We offend each other and then we just forgive one another and move on. Some things we stomach and we endure are enough to lead to divorce. But when there's commitment, you may be able to just overlook it and let it go. How many fights make a marriage? Who knows the answer? How many fights make a marriage? You don't know the answer. Many fights. Boku, boku, boku. How many is boku? Aha. Plenty fight makes a marriage. You may quarrel, you may have issues, but with commitment, inshallah, the marriage will sustain. And another question is, the population of unmarried Muslim women today is alarming in Nigeria. The main reason is the men marry only one wife. How can you advise Muslims to help reduce this problem? I was trying to help some time ago and people were abusing me. Yeah, they said I was saying something 25% and everything. They abused me. They said I always promote polygamy. Now, you are asking this question now. What do you want me to say? It's obvious now. For men who have one wife, if they can afford it, if they have what it means and what it takes, if they can abide by the rules and regulations of Almighty Allah, then there is provision for them to do so if they so desire. It's not all of those that are capable of doing that should do it, or that can do it. One man's food is another man's poison, and one man's leather bag is another man's momo. What they use for leather bag in one place is momo in another place. So it is very hard to tell you openly, generally like this, that men should go. Some men cannot do it, even if they want to do it, by virtue of some of the things. Someone who cannot even settle quarrel between two sisters. You cannot settle quarrel between two people. Will he now be able to have two wives or more than one wife? Solutions to some problems are problems on their own. So if you cannot do it, please, it's not compulsory. But for those who can do it and they feel they can do it, may Allah make it easy for them. The reason why I step down like this is that if we ask all single ladies to stand up now and all single brothers to stand up, you will see the number may almost be the same. If we ask, okay, single brothers marry single ladies now, they'll start telling you stories. You see, actually, nevertheless, you know, so therefore, we just met today, I need to think about it, I want to be eating Kara, I want to... So sometimes you don't even know which side to stay myself sometimes. See brothers, look at ladies here that you can marry, then they will be quoting hadith. May Allah have mercy on us. Ladies know when they see the brothers eventually, she will just be doing istikhara. Be like, actually Ustadh, I need to think about it. When she has looked at him from north to south and said that this one doesn't seem to have anything. Or if the brother tells the truth too much, she will just use style to backslide. Probably like, actually I work in Pussy Market, I'm doing clearing and forwarding. You see, I have this wheelbarrow I use for clearing and forwarding. This wheelbarrow is not really my own. I get it from somewhere. I normally make returns. Sometimes 200 naira, sometimes 400 naira. And inshallah, I'm hoping that one day I'll have my own wheelbarrow and be a man of my own. Will you marry me? She was already deciding to receive you. Shebi, you said you want to marry now. Look at the man here now. And so they say there's more. Another reason people give is that we have more ladies than men. Is it true? You believe it? No, I don't want to accept it. You know why? Because it's not that we have more ladies than men. It is just that we have more marriageable ladies than we have marriageable men. Do you get that gist now? Okay, Meruwa is he not a man? Megad is he not a man? We have more men that are not marriageable to the kind of ladies we have, that have gotten so much tarbiyah, so much upbringing, their parents invested so much on them. And sometimes we will now say, okay, marry, we look at some of the brothers, we will be like, can this one really take good care of this lady? I'm not preaching materialism, but I believe that brothers, we need to, you know what I mean now? You should just step up a little. It's not easy for those parents to release their daughters to you after they have suffered and given them all they have given to them. Some of them will not buy gold, they will not buy dresses like other women. They will spend it on their daughters so that she will get the best of education. One guy will not show up with earpiece and his head will be swinging from side to side like this. So what do you want to marry your daughter? What do you do? I'm a businessman. Or sometimes you say, I'm into business. Doing something by myself. They can't trust you if you continue that way. May Allah forgive us. Yes, something they said, it's a lot of questions. Please forgive me, I don't even know which one to pick. They said hijab is recommended for a Muslim lady, but can a lady wear anything that ensures her aura is fully covered? Or hijab is particularly a must? Hijab is compulsory for a mature Muslim lady, and there's no other thing we can say about that. If your mind is not inclined to it, you should pray to Allah to make it easy for you. Don't you see other ladies, the way they wear the hijab? They are more beautiful, more respectable in that. If you feel you are not able to do so yet, please try. Make effort. May Allah make it easy for you. One lady was wearing wigs the other time, and we said, about wigs? She said, well, I'm covering my head now. I'm covering my head with the wigs. See how people use Akida to, deride the deed. Don't do that. Fear Allah. We all know what is right to do, and we should all try and make effort. It is strongly recommended. It is in fact compulsory for a Muslim lady wear your hijab as decently and as modestly as you can. I saw one lady in one part of the country I don't want to mention. She was wearing her hijab quite alright, but she was wearing a t-shirt that showed her belly, and she was wearing tight jeans. And she would think she's wearing hijab. I think in as much as we are not the judge of that, we like people to be serious with their deen. Everywhere in the world now, people take their religion seriously. People who are Christians, they are getting born again. People who practice Islam, they are wearing their hijab very well with fashion. No matter how brilliant you think you are, you see a lady that is more brilliant than you, and she wears her hijab very well. And no matter how beautiful you are, there are ladies who are much more beautiful than you, and they still wear their hijab. So which one you get now? Then somebody says, Sheikh, I want to get married, but I'm not financially stable. Do I have to be financially stable before I can marry her? If they give me their daughter, go. Financial stability is very important. If you don't have a job, you should marry. Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Ya ma'ashara shabab, man istata'a minkum al-ba'a falyatazawwaj." Oh, you young people, any of you that has reached the age of marriage and is able to maintain a family, let him get married. And it is said that if you cannot marry, then you should fast. And keep fasting until when Allah provides for you enough to be able to start a family. I'm not saying you should have it all, but enough to start a family. And this is very, very important. In fact, the Quran also promises that even if they happen to be poor, Allah is going to enrich them from His wealth. You see, there's a limit, there's an equilibrium. You have to be matured, that is mentally stable, physically stable, and you have to have that financial stability of at least a source of income for yourself. I hope you understand. Some of the brothers will say they want to get married, but they are still living with their mothers. Nobody's going to take you seriously like that. Some of them, you say, okay, you want to marry, where do you live? You say, I live, you see, if you get to Maraba, you move forward. After that, there's one place towards the right. Keep going, you don't stop there. Then when you move forward a bit, you get to one man village. After one man village, you move like 16 kilometers off the road. So there are some about 5 or 6 trees of palm trees there. Count about 3 of them, then turn towards the left. When you go towards the left, you move in, then you ask for so and so place. When you ask for the place, they will now describe it to where somebody will take you to where I live is staying. And the place where I'm living there, actually, alhamdulillah, there are about 6 of us that are managing the room. And then there's a place where I have my dresses, and there's a way where I have my mattress. I also keep my sponge and my toothpaste and everything in this other place. But anytime you want to see me, just call. I'll come and meet you. And that person comes want to marry your daughter, you will not take him serious. So make necessary preparation, even if it is one room that you are managing. Anybody whose daughter you want to marry will know that at least from there you move somewhere. So you can't still be living with your mother is the one cooking for you, your younger sisters are the one washing your clothes, and then you say you are ready to marry. Say it in English. Someone said, what's the penalty of a married woman that kisses a non-mahram? It's not a matter of penalty as if we are going to flog her or something like that. We all know that this is not acceptable, this is haram. Whoever has done that should make tawbah, repent, and please desist from doing such a thing. May Allah make it easy for us. There are many more questions, but I'm afraid I may have to stop here in case if there's any other opportunity, we may be able to answer them as Allah will permit us. May Allah forgive us wherever we are wrong. May Allah continue to guide us right in all our